19 wins in one season. Max Verstappen pulled off the most dominant season in F1 history with 19 wins out of 22 races in 2023. That's an 86% win rate. No one's even come close to that in a full calendar. He sealed it at the Japanese Grand Prix, locking up both the Constructors' and Drivers' title almost single-handedly. The Red Bull RB19 was fast, but Max made it unstoppable. He won in every kind of condition: wet, dry, street circuit, high-speed tracks. He even had a streak of 10 straight wins from Miami to Monza. And across the season, he led over 1,000 laps, more than all other drivers combined. Not even Vettel's 2013 run with 9 wins in a row reached this level. To beat this record, a driver would need near-perfect machinery, no teammate interference, bulletproof reliability, and flawless execution all season long. And even then, one DNF or strategy error ruins the math. Ready for the next insane record? Youngest world champion. Sebastian Vettel became the youngest Formula One world champion ever at just 23 years and 134 days old, clinching the title in a dramatic final race at the 2010 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The twist? He had never led the championship all season, until that very last lap. Driving the Red Bull RB6, Vettel took pole position at 10 different races and won 5. But reliability issues and mid-season mistakes kept him behind in the standings. Going into the finale, he was third, behind Fernando Alonso and Mark Webber. But when Ferrari miscalculated their strategy and Webber struggled for pace, Vettel stormed ahead and crossed the finish line a champion. He broke the record previously held by Lewis Hamilton, who won his first title at 23 years and 300 days. And with the FIA rule now requiring drivers to be at least 18 years old to compete in F1, the window to break Vettel's record is incredibly tight. Not impossible, but the stars would need to align early, perfectly, and instantly. Next up, let's go back in time to one of the most ridiculous race margins ever recorded. Biggest winning margin. Jim Clark delivered one of the most outrageous wins in Formula One history at the 1963 Belgian Grand Prix, finishing 4 minutes and 54 seconds ahead of second place. Yes, you had that right. He could have pulled into the pits, made a sandwich, and still taken the flag. Racing at Spa-Francorchamps. Back when it was a terrifying 14.1-kilometre beast, Clark started 8th on the grid after dealing with fuel pressure problems in qualifying. But once the lights went out, he carved through the field like a surgeon, took the lead by lap 3, and never looked back. While others spun off or retired in the rain, Clark's Lotus 25 just kept flying. Back then, there were no safety cars, no modern telemetry, and barely any weather protection. Drivers raced on pure instinct, and sometimes on slick tyres in a thunderstorm. Combine that chaos with Clark's finesse, and the result was a crushing win margin that's never been approached again. Today, with virtual safety cars, red flags, and tightly regulated gaps, winning by even 30 seconds is rare. Coming up next, a number so perfect, not even the most dominant drivers today can touch it. Most career pole positions. Lewis Hamilton holds the record for most pole positions in Formula One history, with an astonishing 104 poles as of 2024. That means, in over 100 weekends, he out-qualified every single driver in the world, often by razor-thin margins measured in thousandths of a second. His qualifying dominance began early, but it exploded during the turbo-hybrid era from 2014 onward. With Mercedes delivering one of the most powerful engines ever seen, Lewis maximised it with flawless precision. His pole at Silverstone 2020, he beat the field by over a second, in wet conditions. In Monza 2020, he set the fastest lap ever recorded in F1 history, averaging 264.3 km per hour. Getting pole isn't just about having the fastest car. It's about squeezing everything out in one shot. Perfect braking, tyre prep, ERS deployment, and confidence. And doing it across changing regulations, different cars, new circuits, and under constant pressure. That's what made Hamilton special. For anyone to reach 100-plus poles, they'd need to dominate qualifying for 15 seasons straight, with a front-row car and zero dip in form. Verstappen, currently sitting far behind. Even Michael Schumacher ended his career at 68 poles. Hamilton's one-lap mastery might just be the final word in qualifying history. Now let's move to a hot streak that left the grid absolutely speechless. Most consecutive wins. Max Verstappen's 2023 season hit a new level of domination when he rattled off 10 consecutive wins, setting the all-time Formula One record for the longest winning streak by a single driver. It started in Miami and didn't stop until Monza. 10 race weekends, 10 victories, no mistakes. He took wins on street circuits like Monaco and Baku, high-speed tracks like Silverstone and Spa, and even survived wet-dry chaos in Zandvoort. Each Sunday, Verstappen executed with laser focus, fast starts, perfect tyre management, and ruthless overtakes when needed. And the RB19? That car was a rocket in clean air and a tank in traffic. Before this, the record was 9, shared by Sebastian Vettel in 2013 and Alberto Ascari in the 1950s. But neither had to face the kind of grid depth, technical complexity, and unpredictable racing that exists today. Verstappen's 10 was pure consistency across every type of challenge. To break this question mark, a driver would need elite machinery, bulletproof strategy, no mechanical issues, and a clean run through half the calendar. One red flag, one rogue pit stop, or one lap of bad timing can derail it all. 10 straight wins sounds like a dream. Verstappen turned it into a terrifying reality. And speaking of domination, how about leading more laps in one season than most drivers do in their entire careers? Most laps led in a single season. In 2023, Max Verstappen didn't just win races, he owned them. That year, he led 1,003 laps out of a possible 1,325. No one in F1 history had ever crossed the 4-digit mark in a single season. Until Max. It wasn't just dominance, it was a statistical chokehold on the entire grid. He led laps in every race except one, often from start to finish. Even when starting off pole, Verstappen usually took the lead within a few corners. His racecraft, tyre control, and ability to disappear into the distance left rivals fighting over scraps. And with Red Bull's RB19 running like a metronome, his lead laps just kept piling up. The previous record was 739 laps, set by Sebastian Vettel in 2011. Verstappen shattered it by over 250 laps. That means for 76% of the entire season, the camera was locked on car number, one at the front. Breaking this record would take total season domination, every weekend, every circuit, every condition. No red flags, no strategy slip-ups, no backmarkers in the way. Just clean air week after week. But dominance isn't always about speed. Sometimes it's about staying power. Longest F1 career. Fernando Alonso holds the record for the longest career in Formula One history, stretching across 23 seasons and counting. From his debut in 2001 with Minardi to racing in 2024 with Aston Martin, Alonso has racked up over 380 Grand Prix starts, outlasting multiple eras, regulation changes, and even a retirement. He became the youngest pole sitter in 2003, the youngest world champion in 2005, and the first to dethrone Schumacher's reign. But after a rocky stint at McLaren and a tough return with Alpine, most drivers would have walked away. Alonso? He came back stronger, His return in 2021 wasn't just a cameo. He's been competing at a high level, battling drivers half his age, and still pushing teams toward the front. Longevity like this isn't about luck. It's relentless adaptability. Alonso has driven V10s, V8s, hybrids, and everything in between. He's raced through tyre wars, refueling bans, ground effect comebacks, and sprint weekends. And at 42, he's still clocking top 5 finishes and pulling off daring overtakes. To outlast him, a driver would need perfect health, insane motivation, political survival skills, and a burning desire to keep evolving with the sport. That's rare fuel. Let's keep going, because the next record defies both reflexes and birth certificates. Youngest F1 driver ever. Max Verstappen made his Formula One debut at just 17 years and 166 days old during the 2015 Australian Grand Prix, racing for Toro Rosso. At an age when most teens are just learning to drive legally, Verstappen was already going wheel-to-wheel with world champions at over 300 kilometres per hour. His rise was lightning fast. Just a year before, he was racing karts. Then came one season of European F3, and suddenly he was in F1, skipping Formula 2 entirely. The move shocked the paddock, but Red Bull saw the talent and didn't hesitate. Verstappen didn't just survive, he thrived. By 2016, he'd earned a promotion to Red Bull Racing and won his first race on debut in Spain. But here's why this record is sealed. Later in 2015, the FIA changed the rules. Drivers must now be at least 18 years old and hold a minimum number of super license points to enter F1. That alone makes Verstappen's record untouchable under current regulations. So even if the next prodigy is faster, smarter, or more prepared, they'll have to wait. Verstappen squeezed through the door just before it closed. A teenager stepping into the world's toughest motorsport and making it look normal? That's a stat frozen in time. Now get ready, because the next record is all about experience, wisdom, and winning well into your 40s. Oldest F1 world champion. Juan Manuel Fangio remains the oldest Formula One world champion in history, winning his 5th and final title in 1957 at the age of 46 years and 41 days. That number alone is mind-blowing, but the way he did it, pure racing folklore. That season, Fangio was driving for Maserati and still delivering performances that felt unreal. At the German Grand Prix on the Nürburgring, he pulled off what many call the greatest F1 drive of all time. After a botched pit stop, he found himself nearly a full minute behind the Ferrari leaders with 10 laps to go. What followed was an onslaught. Fangio smashed the lap record 9 times and took the lead on the final lap to seal the win. His calm precision, mechanical feel, and unmatched race IQ defined an era when safety was minimal and driver courage was everything. Fangio's title haul came between the ages of 39 and 46, an age range where most athletes have long since walked away. Then we have the almost impossible record, most fastest laps. Michael Schumacher holds the record for the most fastest laps in Formula One history, with a staggering 77 to his name. That means in 77 different races, he clocked the quickest lap of the entire Grand Prix, while fighting, winning, or managing a car on the edge. It wasn't just speed, it was control, timing, and pure racecraft. Schumacher's ability to find time late in a race was legendary. Whether it was pushing on worn tyres or lighting up the clock after a pit stop, he had a sixth sense for pace. At Ferrari, he often used fastest laps to build gaps before pitting, turning strategy into a science. He didn't just rely on car performance, he dictated it. As of 2024, Lewis Hamilton is closest with 65, followed by Kimi Räikkönen with 46. Verstappen, for all his wins, still sits well behind. Schumacher's 77 still stands as the ultimate proof of who could go flat out when it mattered most. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, let us know which record hit you the hardest. And if you want more deep dives like this, don't forget to subscribe.